Next up, we have Michael Thaler, will be teaching at the Lafayette Library Learning Center, Aging and the Brain.
If I can make it up those steps, I'll be fine. Well, welcome again. This must be, what, fifth, sixth time I've been up here, and every time you say, how many of you are here for the first time, I have this impulse of putting up my hand, which means that I must be either entering the fourth age or going back to the first age, whatever that means. But fundamentally, it makes me remember that I have to first up say, this is the one course that is going to be taught off campus, so to speak, is going to be at Lafayette. Now, I don't even know where Lafayette is, actually, except that it's next door to Rossmore, I believe. and that I know because about 20 years ago, I lectured there. And I remember about 10 minutes after I started, a gentleman came in the back and said in a very loud voice, "Do I live here?" which gave me the idea of teaching a course on the brain, of course. Anyhow, well, basically the course is very straightforward, except that it's talking about the brain. Now, you know, talking about the brain is like talking to the guy in the mirror, because we are the brain. We are, what we are is the brain, all there is to us. And, you know, you've heard the term brain dead, which is now an official diagnosis. It's, I wonder if it's chargeable, actually. Yeah, just a doctor-to-doctor remark. But, but anyway, it's basically three parts. How does the brain work? How does it change with age? And what can we do about it? It's that straightforward, actually. And it turns out that in all three parts of this, there's been such amazing advances, such increase in understanding and clarity that it's just breathtaking, except that the more we know how much we still have to learn. And we're now well on the way to this final outcome, which is, think about it, essentially all our evolution from 4 million years ago when this little chimp named Lucy stood up and said, "Hey, I like it from up here," and continued to walk, to this day, the one organ that actually has evolved in any kind of quantitative way is the brain. The brain has gone from Lucy's brain of about 500 grams, you know, about a pound and a half or something like that, to 3.5 pounds. So it's almost tripled during this period. And the part of the brain that has actually increased during this evolution is just the cortex, the part that we think with. And underneath it is the part that we feel with. And that's still the governing principle, because everything that all our organs of sight and sound and all the sensory organs feed into our brain gets filtered through the emotion into the thinking part. And so one of the most interesting questions that have been looked at more recently is, if the brain ages as we age and the body ages, what ages actually? Does the cognitive part age, or does the emotional part age? Well, in fact, the emotional part gets better. That's the good news. And also, it determines what the cognitive part gets, because it is this intelligent filter. So our latest research on affective versus cognitive thinking is very much focused on aging, because it turns out that this paradox of wisdom, which is the oldest people in the tribe are, you know, honored as being wise, and yet their brains are supposedly deteriorating. Well, it turns out that wisdom is actually making decisions based on fundamentally emotional memory. And that's why we are getting wiser, while we forget how to count and where we live. So, look forward to seeing you in class, and it's way down there in Lafayette, and I assure you I'll be there because I'll have a map with me. Okay.